that experience?
We wanted a record deal from the very start, and it's something that we were able to try out and see what it was like, and we came out of it more positive and more confident, at least for me, than I ever have been about our music and about where we are and what we need to do. I felt, I can't tell you, but so that is the success for me, is knowing that we did the right thing, and the results since then speak for themselves. It's just everything started, the energy started flowing again. Like when we were with the label for a year, almost everything just stopped and nothing was happening, no shows, no nothing. And then as soon as we let go of that, all these things just started happening again, and more opportunities, and it just felt right. So we're really lucky to be able to have come out of it without not speaking to each other ever again, or being in sort of some sort of legal bind or anything. We were very lucky, and again, I'm glad that we did it, and I'm glad that we got out of it quickly. and I mean, for the last couple of months, before the record even came out, or maybe it was right when the record came out, we were basically having conversations within the band about, like, how can we get out of this? We're not doing anything. The record actually did come out, but they just, we had 3 A&R people leave the company, and so no one was really paying attention. So for weeks we were just saying, we got to get out of this. We got to, we can do more on our own. And during that time, they called us and just said, you know what, we're going to let you go. And it was actually, a good thing, because that's what we wanted too. And then, and then just things started getting better again.
That's awesome.
Well, you guys have had quite a bit of music on television shows, movies, video games, and you even co-scored, if I could talk, a movie with original songs. How do you decide what type of song goes with a project like the movie? So
that was Jennifer Westfeldt, who wrote and directed and starred in that movie, Friends with Kids. That's her decision as far as, like, the songs that she chose. And then almost as an afterthought, in fact, she was using one of our songs in the movie, and she needed a little piece of music kind of to segue into a scene, like, attached to our song, and wanted to know if we could do something that would work. And then we did something, and she liked it, and that's when she kind of got the idea of, like, oh, well, maybe you guys can come up with more music for the movie, because she had never thought of it, and we certainly had never done that before. So that's how that came about, and she ended up liking what we did, and then next thing you know, we co-scored a movie, So.
Yeah, and I like that you guys offer the soundtracks on your website, too. That's awesome, because there's a lot of movies, a lot of TV shows and things that we watch, and a lot of times we don't even know who's behind that song. And we'll be like, right. I know for me, during the day, of course, I watch my soaps, and I'll hear songs playing in the background. I'll go, oh, I really like that song. I wonder who's singing it. And then, you don't ever find out. So it's great that you offer that to people.
What do you guys, I mean, as an independent band, where are you guys looking to go? Not looking too far in the future. I know you're not talking about the future, but just in terms of the growth of your music and with your video production skills, just as a band, what do you hope for yourselves in terms of your creativity, I think is what I'm asking you.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's even letting go of that sort of ambition as well, which can sound crazy to somebody, and I relate, because that would have sounded crazy to me at a different time in my life. But to even let go of, well, I need to be this kind of artist, or we need to do this, or when we get together, we're going to do this. See, so I just think for us, we've been getting closer and closer and closer to really living right now, and so it sounds nuts. I understand a lot, but I can't even think about what kind of music I'm going to, what will come out when I'm with the guys again, or what the next thing will be, or where it's going to go. Or it's like the 88 is kind of this really pure thing to us, where it has to be very spontaneous. But you see, we do things outside of that. I write with people sometimes, and I do other stuff where there's more of a I don't want to say an agenda, but definitely like this is not 100% my expression of, there are some things that we do in music that is more like work, but as far as the band goes, it's just too we've been through too many of these things to mess around with trying to like get popular or play any kind of BS games like that. We're too old. We've done it too long. We know each other too well, and it's a beautiful thing if you can embrace it. If you fight it and you get scared and you still want to chase the golden ring or whatever, yeah, you can get pulled away, and that's what happens. When I get afraid, all bets are off.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, oh my gosh, everything's the end of the world, and we got to do this and we got to do that, and for what? To be anxious? And when we were doing the most things as a band, when someone would say, "How are you doing?" I would rattle off 10 things that we were doing as a band. That has nothing to do with how I was doing. I was anxious and uncomfortable. But you see, it's like always putting my focus on the next thing, or doing these things that other people might think are a big deal, but inside it didn't give me any like peace or anything like that. So this is all life stuff. This is all like personal stuff more than like a career in music. And if
life's good, man.
If people want a career in music, don't come to me to I would have no idea how to do that.
A life in music. No, but you're talking. No, I like what you're saying, Keith, because it's a life in music. It really is, and I can actually really empathize with you, man. Because last year I started this very small record film production company, and I just got into my car and I said I'm going to make a documentary and drive around the country and film it, and I did. And then I was like, well, I'm not very good, so I'll get people that know how to do this. And so more people came, and we got bigger, and now we're going on the road for 4 months, and I never thought in my wildest dreams anybody would be interested in it, or that people would want to be a part of it. That wasn't my intention at all. And I think that when I listen to you, and when it comes out in your videos, like everything that you're saying now really resonates with the things that you say in your video. I think it's just enjoying the process, and when people see you enjoying the process, they can better see how they could enjoy their own process. It doesn't have to be the same thing, but I think the things that you said and the things that you're representing right now, especially over the phone, speak to a bit of a higher purpose in terms of how we can all go about our jobs, our daily lives, our relationships. So it's a little off music, but I think it's good life advice from Keith and Adam. I think it's good stuff.
Yeah, and if someone had asked you a week before or even 5 minutes before that idea popped in your head and asked what you were doing, if you were doing an interview, you would have said, I don't know. Yeah. But 5 minutes later or whatever, when the thought came to you that that's what you were going to do, and then it was there. So it's one of those things. It's like it's hard to be patient. It's hard to wait. It's hard to trust. It's hard, but the alternative is to be, anxious, and this is for me, anxious and fearful and panicky, and I know all about that.
Yeah, well, it's like you build pressure, and you can't, when things become rigid, it loses its fluidity. You can't enjoy it. You're worried. You said worry and fear. You can't enjoy anything.
If I'm not excited about the music we're doing, how could I ever expect someone else to be?
No. But
truer words are spoken.
And that takes so much accountability, too, and responsibility to say, because a lot of artists, they blame audiences, they blame a lot of things, and I think you really simplify. I think that's an excellent way to put it, man.
Thank you.
Very cool.
Well, for our listeners, I'd like to let you know that their music is available on their website, which is the88.net, as well as iTunes, Amazon, and CD Baby. I also love that you guys offer a vinyl LP. I mean, you don't see that too much these days.
This was the first one that we ever put out, and I love the way it sounds on vinyl. And you know, being so close to the mixes, listening to them on the computer day after day, and then finally getting to hear it on a different format when we heard it on our record player at home, it just sounded really, really nice. And so I'm really happy that we did this. And I actually think I prefer listening to it on that than any other format. I think it sounds the best that way.
Well, I think I'll have to find a record player because mine was gone back in the day. And I do miss the vinyl LP.
Yeah, and most bands and most people are putting records out. It's back in a big way. I mean, you go to record stores and almost all the records are new records, like, you know, not used records. Like, so many groups are putting out vinyl.
I love that because you get to see the artwork and stuff. You know, there's so much more than just the LP itself, but you know, the cover of it and the artwork and the thought that you put into it, and that's one of my favorite things about it.
Yeah, it sounds really great too. It sounds amazing.
Well, I'm going to close the show with a couple more songs. I'm going to play Someday Blues and Do You Love Me? And I have to tell you that I absolutely love Do You Love Me? So, yes, the answer is to your question, Do you love me? Yes, yes, yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And the last question I have for you guys is describe the 88 in 3 words.
You do that, Adam.
Infinity?
Covers it.
He covers all.
Yeah.
It's a 3-part word. Infinity. Well, actually, it's 4.
Yeah, well, the 8 is actually an infinity. So,
that's right.
And that was another thing, going back to one of your first questions about names or meanings of the band name, and that is another one that I love.
Yeah, I've always been terrible at summing anything up, especially anything that has to do with something I'm personally involved in, or, you know. I understand on the other side, like always wanting to, you know, hear things like that from bands that I really like or artists that I really like, but when you're on the other side, it's really just, we have no perspective on what it is that we're doing or what we've done, or, you know, it's really a tough question.
You guys did great, man.
Oh,
that's okay. Do you have any upcoming gigs?
Keith and I are playing in September at the Standard in Los Angeles. It's in downtown Los Angeles.
Yeah, nice.
And we're working on playing at a couple record stores in September as well. There's one in Long Beach.
I'm sorry, Adam.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, we're playing record stores. It's kind of fun because we have the vinyl and play earlier in the day, which is kind of nice, and kids can come and yeah, I think honestly I foresee me and Adam doing more things together, just because it's fun and it's easier, and it has become increasingly difficult to get everyone together to do shows, and touring is kind of, I don't want to say out of the question, but you know, it would have to make a lot of sense for us to just go on the road. So it's an interesting time for the band, but who knows? Who knows what'll happen?
Well, wishing you guys a lot
I
of
think
luck.
you guys are doing it right. You're having fun while you're doing it. You know, you're sticking together. You're making great music, and that's not much more than you can ask for.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I want to thank you guys for joining me. For our listeners, please follow them on Twitter at The88 and also find them on Facebook.com/The88. And you guys keep in touch. Please keep making the great music and the videos. I'd love to see more of those silent movies.